The Galactic Tech Repair Shop was a cacophony of sounds, a symphony of buzzing machinery, whirring tools, and the occasional crackle of electricity. The air was thick with the smell of burnt circuits and the faint odor of solder. It was a place where technology from across the universe came to be mended, from sleek alien communication devices to the latest human smartphones. In one of the cluttered corners of the shop, Alex Rodriguez, a skilled phone repair technician, was engrossed in his work, his hands deftly maneuvering through the intricate components of a shattered device. Alex was in his element, surrounded by gadgets and gizmos that most people could only dream of understanding. His workstation was a chaotic blend of tools, parts, and half-finished projects, each telling a story of its own. He prided himself on being the go-to guy for repairs that others deemed impossible. As he focused on the task at hand, he reflected on the nature of his job. Many people took technology for granted, never realizing the skill and dedication required to keep their devices functioning. To them, it was just a matter of pressing a button and expecting instant results. But Alex knew better. He understood the delicate balance of technology and humanity. Just as he was about to finish up with a particularly stubborn screen replacement, the door to the shop swung open with a loud whoosh. A figure stepped inside, and Alex's attention was immediately drawn away from his work. The customer was unlike anyone he had ever seen before. The alien stood tall, with iridescent skin that shimmered in shades of blue and green. Their eyes were large and expressive, reflecting a mix of hope and despair. Alex's heart raced. He had always been fascinated by the diversity of life in the galaxy, but this was something entirely different. "Greetings, Earthling," the alien spoke, their voice a melodic blend of tones. "I am Zektar, and I require your assistance." Alex blinked, momentarily taken aback. Hey there. What can I help you with?" He gestured for Zektar to approach. As the alien stepped closer, Alex noticed the device cradled in their hands. It was unlike any phone he had ever seen. The casing was adorned with intricate designs that seemed to pulse with a faint light. "This looks interesting," he said, his curiosity piqued. Zektar's expression shifted, a hint of sadness shadowing their features. "This is not just any device. It is a communication tool that connects me to my people on Varnax 7. It is broken, and without it, I cannot reach them. My planet relies on this technology for vital communication. Without it, we are isolated." Alex felt a wave of empathy wash over him. He knew the importance of communication, having witnessed its power in his own life. "I'll do my best to fix it," he promised, already assessing the device. His mind raced with possibilities, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of responsibility. Fixing this device could potentially save Zektar's community from despair. As he examined the communication tool, Alex noticed that it had a sleek design but was riddled with complex components that were foreign to him. This wasn't going to be a simple repair. "Do you have any idea what happened to it?" he asked, glancing up to meet Zektar's gaze. "It was damaged during a storm on my planet," Zektar explained, their voice trembling slightly. "The surge of energy disrupted its functions. I feared it was beyond repair, but I had to try." Alex nodded, determination setting in. "All right, let's see what we're dealing with." He carefully opened the device, revealing a tangled mess of wires and circuits. The sight was daunting, but Alex had encountered challenging repairs before. He rolled up his sleeves and got to work, his mind focused. As he navigated through the intricate components, Zektar watched intently, their eyes filled with a mix of hope and anxiety. Alex could feel the weight of their expectations pressing down on him. "You know," he began, breaking the tense silence, "repairing devices like this is kind of like solving a puzzle. You just have to find the right pieces and fit them together." Zektar tilted their head, curiosity sparking in their eyes. "A puzzle? I see. On my planet, we often rely on logic and structure. But this seems to require intuition as well." "Exactly," Alex replied, feeling a sense of camaraderie forming. "Sometimes you have to think outside the box." He continued to work, sharing stories of previous repairs that had seemed impossible at first but ultimately led to success. He could see Zektar relaxing a bit, the alien's posture shifting from anxious to intrigued. Alex felt a connection forming, not just through the act of repairing but through the shared understanding of the importance of communication. You know, growing up, I always loved helping people fix their devices, he reminisced. It was my way of connecting with them. Every repair was like a conversation, a bridge between us. Zektar nodded, the alien's expression softening. It is a beautiful way to view your work. We, too, value connection. It is the essence of our existence. Their words hung in the air, and Alex realized how much was at stake. With a renewed sense of purpose, he focused on the device, determined to succeed. He carefully reconnected some wires, testing the connections as he went. Zektar leaned closer, their interest evident. Your hands move with such precision. How did you learn? I've always been drawn to technology, Alex replied, smiling. It's like a language I speak fluently. But it takes a lot of practice and patience. The mood in the shop shifted, the initial tension giving way to a shared energy. As Alex worked through the various components, they exchanged stories and cultural insights, weaving a tapestry of understanding. Zektar's tales of their home planet fascinated Alex. He learned about the vibrant landscapes and the unique customs of their people, each story showcasing the depth of Zektar's connection to their community. Finally, after what felt like hours of tinkering, Alex paused, wiping sweat from his brow. The device was partially reassembled, but he sensed something was still off. He needed to dig deeper to figure it out. Just as he was about to adjust a few more components, hope flickered in Zektar's eyes. Do you think you can fix it? If anyone can do it, it's me, Alex reassured, a spark of determination igniting within. Just give me a little more time. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The stakes were high, and the challenge ahead felt monumental, but Alex was ready to face it. As he prepared to tackle the next step, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a repair, it was a chance to connect worlds, to bridge a gap that spanned across the galaxy. And in that moment, surrounded by the hum of machinery and the anticipation in the air, he felt a deep sense of purpose. As Alex examined the alien device, the urgency of the situation began to sink in. This was no ordinary piece of technology, it was a lifeline for Zektar's people, crucial for communication with their home planet. He could see the flicker of hope in Zektar's eyes, but he was acutely aware that he might be the only person who could help. As he carefully laid the device on the table, he could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. What exactly does this device do? Alex asked, turning his attention to Zektar, who was anxiously watching him from over his shoulder. The alien's luminous skin shimmered under the shop's fluorescent lights, a stark contrast to the dull metallic surfaces surrounding them. It connects to our planetary network, Zektar explained, their voice trembling as they spoke. Without it, I cannot communicate with my family, my friends, or my community. We rely on this device to share news, seek help, and maintain our bonds. When the storm hit, I feared the worst. Alex nodded, his heart racing. He had repaired many devices in his career, but this felt different. All right, let's take a closer look. He began to pry open the casing, revealing a complex arrangement of wires and circuits. The sight was daunting, filled with unfamiliar components that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Be careful, Zektar cautioned, their tone a mix of worry and hope. It's fragile. One wrong move could mean absolute failure. Trust me, Alex said, trying to mask the nerves bubbling inside him. I've faced worse. As he delved deeper into the device, he began pulling out various components to inspect them. The faint smell of burnt circuits filled the air, reminding him of countless previous repairs, each one a journey of trial and error. Do you have any tools we can use? Zektar inquired, glancing around the shop. Of course, Alex replied, pointing towards a neatly organized toolbox in the corner. Just grab anything that looks like it might help. As Zektar rummaged through the tools, Alex concentrated on the device, trying to piece together its inner workings. As he worked, Alex shared stories of his past repairs, how he once fixed a children's toy that seemed like it was doomed beyond repair, or the time he salvaged a customer's data from a completely fried laptop. Zektar listened intently, their expression shifting from anxiety to curiosity. Your stories are interesting, Zektar finally said. On my planet, we value knowledge and history. Every story told is like a thread woven into the fabric of our culture. Alex smiled, feeling a bond forming. It's no different here. Each device has its own history, its own story. When I fix something, I'm not just repairing a tool, I'm connecting with the person who uses it. It's a way of understanding each other. Zektar's eyes brightened. I appreciate that perspective. Communication is vital to our existence. Without it, we are lost. Alex resumed working on the device, carefully reconnecting wires and testing circuits. But as he inspected each component, he realized that something was deeply wrong. A critical piece appeared damaged beyond repair. Frustration washed over him. "This isn't good," he muttered, furrowing his brow. "I might need to find a replacement part." Zektar's expression shifted to one of despair. "Is it hopeless?" the alien asked, their voice tinged with desperation. "No, not hopeless," Alex reassured, though uncertainty lingered in his voice. "Just challenging. But we can improvise. There's always a way." He glanced around the shop, scanning for potential salvaged parts that could be repurposed for the alien device. "Improvisation?" Zektar repeated, their tone skeptical. "Isn't there a more structured approach?" "Sometimes, the best solutions come from thinking outside the box," Alex replied, feeling confident despite the challenges. "Let's see what we can find." He led Zektar over to a shelf filled with various old devices, tablets, phones, and gadgets that had seen better days. "These could have parts we can use," he suggested, his mind racing with possibilities. As they began to sort through the items, Zektar shared tales of their home planet, discussing their culture and the significance of communication. "On our world, we don't just share information, we share feelings, experiences, and connections. Without this device, I cannot reach out to them. I fear they will think I have abandoned them." Alex paused, absorbing Zektar's words. "I understand. It's not just about the technology, it's about the connection it provides. I can't imagine being cut off from my family and friends." His empathy fueled his determination to fix the device. They rummaged through the collection, finally finding a few workable parts from an old communication device. "This might do the trick," Alex said, holding up a small circuit board. He could feel Zektar's hope reigniting as they examined the piece. "Do you really think it will work?" Zektar asked, their eyes wide with anticipation. "Let's find out," Alex replied, his heart pounding with excitement. As they returned to the main device, Alex started to integrate the new components, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "I can't help but admire your dedication," Zektar remarked, watching Alex's hands move deftly over the circuitry. "You humans possess an incredible ability to adapt." "It's all about problem solving," Alex said, focused on his task. "You learn to think on your feet. Life throws challenges at you, and you have to find a way to overcome them." After a few tense moments of connecting wires and adjusting circuits, Alex stepped back, surveying their work. "All right, we're ready for a test." "This is the moment of truth," he said, holding his breath. Zektar's anticipation was palpable, their body tense with hope. "Please, let it work," they murmured, eyes locked onto the device as Alex powered it on. As the screen flickered to life, static filled the air, followed by a crackling sound. Alex's heart raced with excitement. "That's a good sign," he remarked, glancing at Zektar, whose expression was a mix of hope and fear. "If you're enjoying this story, leave a like to help the channel grow." Alex pressed a few buttons, trying to establish a connection. After a few moments of silence, faint voices started to emerge from the device, a mix of static and familiar tones that seemed to resonate with Zektar. "Can you hear them?" Zektar gasped, their eyes wide with disbelief. "Yes, it's working," Alex shouted, unable to contain his excitement. The connection stabilized, and the voices became clearer. Zektar's joy was infectious, their face lighting up with relief and happiness. "I can't believe it. I can finally reach my people," Zektar exclaimed, their voice trembling with emotion. In that moment, as they celebrated their small victory, Alex realized that this repair was more than just fixing a device, it was about reconnecting lives, bridging gaps between worlds. The bond between them had grown stronger, and Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were no longer just technician and client, they were allies, friends united by a shared mission. As Alex began to work on the alien device, he could feel the tension in the air. The shop, usually filled with the comforting hum of machinery, seemed eerily quiet. With Zektar watching intently, Alex felt both the weight of responsibility and a spark of determination ignite within him. He opened the device carefully, revealing a complex network of wires and circuits that looked unlike anything he had ever seen before. "Okay, let's see what we're dealing with," he murmured to himself, focusing his attention on the intricate components. As he adjusted his magnifying glasses, he began to inspect the connections. The more he observed, the more he realized how alien this technology truly was. The colors of the wires glimmered under the fluorescent lights, some shimmering like metal, others glowing faintly with an unearthly hue. Zektar leaned closer, curiosity evident in their wide, expressive eyes. "What do you see?" they asked, their voice a mixture of hope and anxiety. Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's definitely not a regular phone. It's more like an advanced communication device, but it's damaged in ways I can't immediately identify." He picked up a small tool, carefully probing at the delicate circuits. "I might need to find a replacement part." Zektar's expression shifted to one of despair. "Is it hopeless?" the alien asked, their voice tinged with desperation. "No, not hopeless," Alex reassured, though uncertainty lingered in his voice. "Just challenging. But we can improvise. There's always a way." He glanced around the shop, scanning for potential salvaged parts that could be repurposed for the alien device. "Improvisation?" Zektar repeated, their tone skeptical. "Isn't there a more structured approach?" "Sometimes, the best solutions come from thinking outside the box," Alex replied, feeling confident despite the challenges. "Let's see what we can find." He led Zektar over to a shelf filled with various old devices, tablets, phones, and gadgets that had seen better days. "These could have parts we can use," he suggested, his mind racing with possibilities. As they began to sort through the items, Zektar shared tales of their home planet, discussing their culture and the significance of communication. "On our world, we don't just share information, we share feelings, experiences, and connections. Without this device, I cannot reach out to them. I fear they will think I have abandoned them." Alex paused, absorbing Zektar's words. "I understand. It's not just about the technology, it's about the connection it provides. I can't imagine being cut off from my family and friends." His empathy fueled his determination to fix the device. They rummaged through the collection, finally finding a few workable parts from an old communication device. "This might do the trick," Alex said, holding up a small circuit board. He could feel Zektar's hope reigniting as they examined the piece. "Do you really think it will work?" Zektar asked, their eyes wide with anticipation. "Let's find out," Alex replied, his heart pounding with excitement. As they returned to the main device, Alex started to integrate the new components, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "I can't help but admire your dedication," Zektar remarked, watching Alex's hands move deftly over the circuitry. "You humans possess an incredible ability to adapt." "It's all about problem solving," Alex said, focused on his task. "You learn to think on your feet. Life throws challenges at you, and you have to find a way to overcome them." After a few tense moments of connecting wires and adjusting circuits, Alex stepped back, surveying their work. "All right, we're ready for a test." "This is the moment of truth," he said, holding his breath. Zektar's anticipation was palpable, their body tense with hope. "Please, let it work," they murmured, eyes locked onto the device as Alex powered it on. As the screen flickered to life, static filled the air, followed by a crackling sound. Alex's heart raced with excitement. "That's a good sign," he remarked, glancing at Zektar, whose expression was a mix of hope and fear. "Can you hear anything?" Zektar asked, leaning closer, their breath shallow. Alex pressed a few buttons, trying to establish a connection. After a few moments of silence, faint voices started to emerge from the device, a mix of static and familiar tones that seemed to resonate with Zektar. "Can you hear them?" Zektar gasped, their eyes wide with disbelief. "Yes, it's working!" Alex shouted, unable to contain his excitement. The connection stabilized, and the voices became clearer. Zektar's joy was infectious, their face lighting up with relief and happiness. "I can't believe it! I can finally reach my people!" Zektar exclaimed, their voice trembling with emotion. In that moment, as they celebrated their small victory, Alex realized that this repair was more than just fixing a device, it was about reconnecting lives, bridging gaps between worlds. The bond between them had grown stronger, and Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were no longer just technician and client, they were allies, friends united by a shared mission. Alex took a moment to revel in the moment, feeling a rush of satisfaction wash over him. "I can't believe we did it," he said, grinning at Zektar. "It's amazing what a little creativity and teamwork can accomplish." Zektar returned the smile, their relief palpable. "Thank you, Alex. You have no idea what this means to me, to my people." "Just doing my job," Alex replied modestly, but inside, he felt a swell of pride. This was more than a job, it was a chance to make a real difference. "If you're enjoying this story, leave a like to help the channel grow," he added, feeling the excitement of the moment. They high-fived, a simple gesture that felt monumental in that instant. Despite the differences in their species, they had worked together and achieved something remarkable. As Zektar prepared to make contact with their home, Alex felt a sense of camaraderie that transcended language and distance. The galaxy felt a little smaller, a little more connected, and he was eager to see where this newfound friendship would take them both. As the tension in the galactic tech repair shop grew, Alex took a deep breath and focused on the alien device before him. Despite the complexity of his task, he could feel the weight of Zektar's expectations resting heavily on his shoulders. The device, a jumble of lights and circuits, seemed almost to pulse with potential, waiting for a spark of life. Alex's mind raced through various techniques and methods, but he knew he had to think outside the box. This device required more than just technical skill, it required creativity and intuition. "Okay, let's see what we can do here," Alex murmured to himself, pulling on a pair of magnifying glasses that allowed him to examine the intricate components more closely. He could hear the soft hum of the machinery around him, the gentle thump of tools being set down, and the distant sound of customers chatting within the shop. Yet, all of that faded into the background as he honed in on Zektar's device, trying to unravel its mysteries. "Are you sure you can fix it?" Zektar asked, their voice a mixture of hope and uncertainty. "I can sense your hesitation." Alex glanced up, meeting the alien's intense gaze. "It's not hesitation, it's just a challenge. Sometimes, the most difficult things require a fresh approach. Trust me, I've been through this before." He could see the flicker of worry in Zektar's eyes, and it spurred him on. He had to do this not just for Zektar, but for the entire community that relied on this device for communication. Zektar stepped closer, their alien features reflecting a mix of curiosity and concern. "On my planet, we rely on communication not only for information but for connection. Without it, we are isolated. I hope you understand the stakes." "I do," Alex replied, his voice firm. "And I won't give up until we find a solution." He returned his focus to the device, flipping it over to examine the underside. His fingers danced across the surface, tracing the intricate pathways etched into the circuitry. He felt like a musician preparing for a grand performance, every movement precise yet fluid. After a few moments of inspection, Alex identified a series of broken wires leading to a central processing unit. "This is where the problem lies," he muttered, pointing it out to Zektar. "We need to bridge these connections, but I don't have the exact parts we need." Zektar's brow furrowed. "What do you suggest?" "Improvisation," Alex said with a glint of determination in his eyes. "Sometimes the best solutions come from thinking creatively. We might not have the exact components, but I can use some old parts from different devices around here. Let's see if we can make something work." "What if it doesn't?" Zektar pressed, their voice laced with anxiety. "Then we'll find another way," Alex assured them, the confidence in his tone almost palpable. "But first, let's gather what we need." They started rummaging through the back of the shop, pulling out old devices that had gathered dust over the years. The air was thick with the scent of burnt circuits, a smell Alex had grown accustomed to. "Here's an old communication satellite receiver," he said, holding up a small, battered piece of equipment. "It might have some useful wiring." Zektar watched closely as Alex carefully extracted the wires, his hands working deftly despite the added pressure. He felt a rush of excitement. This was the moment that could turn everything around. "You know," he said, trying to lighten the mood, "this is kind of like a cooking show. We've got the ingredients, and now we just need to whip up something incredible." Zektar let out a soft laugh, their tension easing slightly. "I never thought I would find humor in a situation like this." "Let's make it count," Alex replied, his enthusiasm contagious. He began connecting the borrowed wires, and as he worked, he shared stories of his past repairs, the quirky customers he'd encountered, and the unusual devices he'd managed to fix. Each story felt like a thread weaving a stronger bond between them. "On my planet, we have a saying, in times of trouble, creativity shines brighter than technology," Zektar shared, their voice taking on a reflective tone. "I like that," Alex said, nodding as he carefully twisted the wires together. "It's true. Sometimes, the most advanced technology can't solve a problem that a little ingenuity can." As they continued to work, Zektar began offering suggestions based on their own experiences. "We use resonance to amplify our signals. Perhaps we could incorporate a similar concept here." "Good thinking," Alex exclaimed, feeling a spark of inspiration. "We could use this old amplifier from the receiver. It might just give us the boost we need." With renewed energy, they set to work assembling the makeshift solution. The atmosphere in the shop shifted, the air buzzed with hope and camaraderie. Laughter erupted occasionally as they shared light-hearted banter, each moment drawing them closer together, transforming their partnership into something akin to friendship. Just as they were about to finalize the assembly, Alex hit a snag. "Oh, looks like we have a problem." He pointed to a critical component of the amplifier that was damaged beyond repair. Zektar's expression dropped, and Alex could see the despair creeping back in. "What do we do now?" "Let's not panic yet," Alex said, putting on a brave face. "We can adapt. We just need to brainstorm some alternatives." His mind raced as he thought about the spare parts he had lying around. "We could use parts from these other devices. I might have enough to create a hybrid solution." "You are resourceful, Alex." "I admire that," Zektar said, their voice steadying as they began to help Alex gather more components. Working together, they pulled pieces from various devices, combining old and new technology in a way that felt innovative and fresh. "I've always believed that when you face a challenge, you have to be willing to think differently," Alex said, feeling the excitement build as they pieced together their hybrid creation. "Sometimes you just have to mix things up to find the right solution." With determination in their hearts, they went to work, assembling their unique creation. Alex could feel the bond between them strengthening, fueled by mutual respect and shared purpose. The stakes were high, but together, they were determined to make it work. As they tightened the final screw, Alex glanced at Zektar, who was watching intently. "This is it. We're about to see if it works," he said, his voice filled with anticipation. Zektar nodded, eyes wide with hope. "Please, let it work." Taking a deep breath, Alex powered on the device, the hum of electricity filling the air. For a moment, nothing happened, and doubt crept in. But then, there it was, a flicker of light on the screen, followed by a crackling sound that resonated through the shop. "That's a good sign," Alex exclaimed, heart racing. As they stood side by side, waiting for the connection to establish, Alex felt a rush of satisfaction. They had overcome so much together, and no matter the outcome, this journey had already forged a lasting friendship. "If you're enjoying this story, leave a like to help the channel grow," he said, his excitement bubbling over as they prepared for the moment of truth. With anticipation hanging in the air, they both held their breath, ready to discover what lay ahead. As they gathered various parts from the shop, Alex felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The challenge seemed monumental, but he was determined not to let Zektar down. They had already come so far together, and he wasn't going to let a broken component ruin everything. He glanced at Zektar, who was studying the damaged part with a look of concern. Okay, this is what we have to work with, Alex said, laying out the components they had scavenged. There's an old circuit board from a smartphone, a couple of wires, and this amplifier that I think might still have some life left in it. He pointed to the items, hoping they would spark inspiration. Zektar nodded, their alien eyes gleaming with a mix of hope and determination. In my culture, we often repurpose materials. We believe that everything has a purpose, even if it's not obvious at first. Perhaps we can create something new from what you have here. I like that philosophy, Alex replied, feeling a surge of motivation. Let's make something amazing. He picked up the circuit board and examined it closely. The intricate pathways snaked across the surface like a map, and he could almost see the potential within it. Do you have any specific ideas? Zektar asked, leaning closer to get a better look. Well, we could use the amplifier to boost the signal. If we wire it correctly, it might just work, Alex suggested, his mind racing with possibilities. But we'll need to be careful. If we make a mistake, it could short out the entire device. Zektar seemed to contemplate this for a moment before responding, let's take it step by step. We can approach this methodically. They both began to work, their hands moving swiftly over the components, each of them drawing on their strengths, Alex's technical skills and Zektar's insights into resonance and communication. As they started to connect the wires, Alex shared stories of past repairs, recalling quirky customers and the strange devices that had come through his shop. There was this one time an old lady brought in a toaster that she claimed could predict the weather. Of course, it was just broken, but the way she described it made me wonder if she might actually believe it. Zektar chuckled softly. I can relate. On my planet, we often have stories about ancient technologies that could do incredible things. It's fascinating how belief can shape our understanding of the world. Their laughter mingled with the sounds of buzzing machinery in the shop, creating a warm atmosphere despite the mounting pressure of time. As they continued working, Zektar suggested incorporating a resonance technique they used back home. We can manipulate the frequencies to better align with our signal. It might help in the amplification process. Great idea. Let's try it, Alex said, feeling a spark of excitement. Working together, they began to experiment with the wires, twisting and turning them as they aimed to create a makeshift solution. The shop was alive with their energy, and for the first time in a while, Alex felt a sense of camaraderie that ignited his passion for his craft. However, just as they were finalizing the assembly, Alex hit a snag. Oh, looks like we have a problem. He pointed at the critical component of the amplifier that was damaged beyond repair. Zektar's expression changed, and Alex could see the despair creeping back into their features. What do we do now? Zektar's voice wavered slightly, revealing the tension that had been building. Let's not panic yet, Alex said, putting on a brave face. We can adapt. We just need to brainstorm some alternatives. His mind raced as he thought about the spare parts he had lying around. What if we use parts from these other devices? I might have enough to create a hybrid solution. Zektar's eyes brightened slightly, and they nodded. You are resourceful, Alex. I admire that. They began assisting Alex in gathering more components, pulling loose parts from various devices scattered around the shop. Okay, so we'll need to think creatively, Alex said as they rummaged through the heap of gadgets. There's an old tablet here that has a functioning battery. If we can combine it with the amplifier in these wires, we could create a new power source. Zektar nodded vigorously. Yes. And we could integrate the signal processor from this broken communication device. It might just give us the edge we need. With renewed energy, they set to work assembling their new creation. The atmosphere in the shop shifted, the air buzzed with hope and camaraderie. Laughter erupted occasionally as they shared light-hearted banter, each moment drawing them closer together, transforming their partnership into something akin to friendship. They worked in tandem, Alex's hands deftly maneuvering the tools while Zektar provided insights on how to enhance their setup. If we connect this wire to the processor, we can create a feedback loop that amplifies the signal even further, Zektar suggested, pointing to the circuit components. Right. Let's do that, Alex replied, feeling invigorated. The clock was ticking, but he could sense that they were onto something special. As they tightened down the final connections, he glanced over at Zektar, who was watching intently, their expression a mix of hope and determination. "This is it. We're about to see if it works," Alex said, his voice filled with anticipation. "Yes," Zektar said, their eyes gleaming with excitement. "Please, let it work." Taking a deep breath, Alex powered on the device, the hum of electricity filling the air. For a moment, nothing happened, and doubt crept into his mind. But then, a flicker of light illuminated the screen, followed by a crackling sound resonating through the shop. "That's a good sign," Alex exclaimed, his heart racing. As they stood side by side, waiting for the connection to establish, Alex felt a rush of satisfaction. They had overcome so much together, and no matter the outcome, this journey had already forged a lasting friendship. "If you're enjoying this story, leave a like to help the channel grow," he said, his excitement bubbling over as they prepared for the moment of truth. With anticipation hanging in the air, they both held their breath, ready to discover what lay ahead. As they gathered various parts from the shop, the atmosphere became charged with a new sense of urgency. The clock was ticking, and Alex could feel the weight of responsibility resting heavily on his shoulders. Zektar, with their unique perspective on technology, offered suggestions that blended their alien knowledge with Alex's earthly expertise. "We could use this old circuit board. It has a few components that might be compatible with your amplifier," Zektar suggested, pointing at a box filled with discarded electronic parts. "Good eye," Alex replied, as he reached for the circuit board. The surface was dusty, a testament to its long neglect, but Alex knew it held potential that could be unlocked with some creativity. The challenge excited him. This was what he thrived on, finding solutions where others saw dead ends. With Zektar's help, they began to piece together their makeshift device. The shop was filled with the sounds of clinking metal and the software of Alex's tools as he worked. The scent of solder mingled with the faint smell of burnt plastic from earlier attempts at repair, creating a sensory tapestry that was oddly comforting in the midst of chaos. "Okay, if we connect this wire from the circuit board to the amplifier, it could enhance the signal output," Zektar proposed, their eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. Alex nodded, impressed by how quickly Zektar grasped the intricacies of his equipment. "Let's do it," he affirmed, feeling a renewed sense of hope. They worked side by side, their hands moving in a synchronized rhythm, a testament to the growing bond between them. Zektar's fingers, though not as dexterous as Alex's, were surprisingly adept at handling the delicate components. "You know, back on my planet, we have a saying, sometimes the most complex problems require the simplest solutions," Zektar shared, their focus unwavering. "I like that," Alex replied, chuckling as he remembered the many times he had overthought repairs. "It's easy to get lost in the tech. Sometimes you just need to take a step back and simplify." As they assembled the device, laughter erupted now and then, punctuating the tense atmosphere with a sense of camaraderie. They exchanged stories about their respective worlds. Zektar shared tales of their planet's vibrant flora and fauna, while Alex reminisced about childhood adventures with friends. It was in these moments that the pressure of the task at hand felt less daunting, and the stakes seemed to matter a little less. But just as they were finalizing the assembly, Alex hit a snag. "Oh, looks like we have a problem," he said, catching Zektar's eye with a mixture of concern and frustration. He pointed to a critical component of the amplifier that was damaged beyond repair. Zektar's expression shifted, and Alex could see the despair creeping back into their features. "What do we do now?" Zektar's voice wavered slightly, reflecting the tension that had been building. "Let's not panic yet," Alex said, putting on a brave face. "We can adapt. We just need to brainstorm some alternatives." He took a deep breath, trying to shake off his own disappointment. "What if we use parts from these other devices? I might have enough to create a hybrid solution." Zektar's eyes brightened slightly, a glimmer of hope returning. "You are resourceful, Alex. I admire that." Together, they began rummaging through the heaps of gadgets scattered around the shop, their hands moving with purpose. "Okay, so we'll need to think creatively," Alex said, sifting through various parts. His mind raced as he considered the possibilities. "There's an old tablet here that has a functioning battery. If we can combine it with the amplifier and these wires, we could create a new power source." Yes. And we could integrate the signal processor from this broken communication device. It might just give us the edge we need, Zektar replied, their enthusiasm infectious. With renewed energy, they set to work assembling their unique creation. The atmosphere in the shop shifted, the air buzzed with hope and camaraderie. They worked in tandem, sharing laughter and banter as they tackled each challenge. Alex felt the familiar thrill of problem-solving wash over him, rekindling his passion for his craft. As they fitted the pieces together, Alex felt a sense of satisfaction in their collaboration. The blend of their worlds, the advanced alien technology and his knowledge of Earth electronics, was creating something extraordinary. If this works, it'll be one for the books, he said, wiping his brow as he tightened a loose connection. Zektar nodded vigorously. Yes. And it will help my people reconnect with their loved ones. You are helping to bridge a gap that has lasted too long. Let's hope we can pull it off, Alex said, feeling the pressure mount again. He glanced at the clock, it was ticking down, and time was not on their side. Okay, we're almost there. Just a few more connections, and we'll be ready to test it. As they tightened the last screw, a sense of accomplishment washed over them. Zektar looked at Alex, their expression a mix of hope and nervous energy. This is it. We're about to see if it works, Alex said, his voice filled with anticipation. Yes, Zektar replied, their eyes gleaming with excitement. Please, let it work. Taking a deep breath, Alex positioned his hand over the power switch, feeling the weight of the moment. With a flick of his wrist, the device powered on, and a burst of static filled the air. Zektar's eyes widened with hope as they waited for a sign of life from the device. For a tense moment, nothing happened, and doubt crept into Alex's mind. But then, a flicker of light illuminated the screen, followed by a crackling sound resonating through the shop. That's a good sign, Alex exclaimed, his heart racing. They both leaned closer, anticipation hanging thick in the air. Zektar's breath quickened, their hope palpable as they watched the device come to life. As the connection began to stabilize, Alex felt a rush of satisfaction. They had overcome so much together, and no matter the outcome, this journey had already forged a lasting friendship. If you're enjoying this story, leave a like to help the channel grow, he said, excitement bubbling over as they prepared for the moment of truth. With a shared breath, they held their excitement in check, both ready to discover what lay ahead. The future seemed bright, and together, they were determined to find their way through the stars. As the device began to hum with energy, Alex felt a rush of adrenaline course through him. The static filled the air, a crackling sound that seemed to resonate not just in the shop, but deep within his heart. Zektar's face lit up with anticipation, their eyes reflecting the flickering lights of the newly activated device. It was a moment of uncertainty mixed with hope, and they both leaned closer, straining to hear the faint signals that might emerge from the alien communication device. Please, let it work, Zektar whispered, their voice barely above a breath. Alex mirrored that sentiment, heart pounding in his chest as they waited for the connection to stabilize. He could feel the weight of their shared hopes resting on his shoulders, the pressure mounting as seconds ticked by like hours. Suddenly, a series of beeps echoed from the device, and Alex's heart skipped a beat. The screen flickered, and he could see faint outlines of text forming. It's coming to life, he exclaimed, barely able to contain his excitement. Zektar gasped, their expression shifting from anxiety to sheer joy. You did it! You really did it! The sound of voices began to filter through the static, muffled but unmistakably present. Alex strained to make out the words, heart racing with each new sound. Zektar's eyes widened as they slowly recognized the familiar cadence of their people's language filtering through the device. I can hear them! Zektar exclaimed, tears brimming in their eyes. They are safe. My family, my friends, they are alive. Alex couldn't help but smile at the sight of Zektar's joy. It was a reminder of why he loved his job so much. Not just for the technical challenges, but for the human connections that emerged from every repair. This is incredible, he said, bouncing on his heels. Can you connect with them? Yes. Zektar replied, their hands trembling as they navigated through the device's interface. I need to share the news. They need to know I'm here. As Zektar established the connection, Alex took a step back, allowing the alien space to communicate freely. He watched, fascinated, as Zektar's face transformed with each exchange. The expressions of relief, love, and laughter danced across their features, and Alex felt a swell of pride. He had played a part in this moment, reconnecting Zektar to their world. "Thank you, Alex," Zektar said between bursts of laughter and joyful cries. "You have no idea what this means to me, to my people." Alex shook his head, feeling the warmth of Zektar's gratitude wash over him. "I just did what I could. I'm glad it worked out." But deep down, he knew this was more than just a job. It was a validation of his skills, his perseverance, and the connection they had forged in the heat of the moment. After a few minutes of animated exchanges, Zektar finally turned to Alex, eyes shining with uncontained happiness. "I can't believe it. I need to tell them everything." As the connection stabilized, Zektar began sharing the details of their experience. "They want to know how I found you, how you fixed the device," Zektar said, laughter bubbling up as they continued to relay the story. "I'll tell them about your incredible skills." "Just don't make me sound too heroic," Alex chuckled, feeling a sense of modesty wash over him. "I mean, I'm just a tech guy doing my job." "Just a tech guy?" Zektar scoffed playfully. "You are a hero in my eyes. You brought hope back to my people." Alex felt a flush of warmth at the compliment. The connection they were forging was unlike anything he had ever experienced. It wasn't just about fixing devices, it was about bridging worlds and understanding each other on a deeper level. After wrapping up their conversation with Zektar's people, Zektar turned back to Alex, their expressions solemn but full of gratitude. "I have an idea. I want to give you something, as a token of my appreciation." "Oh, you don't have to do that," Alex said quickly, waving his hands dismissively. "Please, let me," Zektar insisted, their voice firm. "What you've done is invaluable. I want to give you a small gift from my planet. It might help you in your future repairs." With that, Zektar rummaged through a small pouch they had at their side. Alex watched curiously as they pulled out a shimmering object that looked like a small crystal orb. It glowed softly, pulsating with an inner light that seemed to dance and swirl. "This is a communication enhancer," Zektar explained. "It will help you with any device needing a signal boost. It's not common, and it's very precious to my people." Alex took the orb into his hands, feeling its warmth radiate against his skin. "Thank you, Zektar. This is amazing." He could hardly believe the gesture of goodwill. It was more than just a gift, it symbolized their friendship and the bond they had formed. "Whenever you use it, remember that you have a friend across the stars," Zektar said, their voice filled with sincerity. "I won't forget," Alex promised, the weight of the moment settling in his heart. As they shared a quiet moment of understanding, the atmosphere in the shop shifted once more. It was no longer just a place for repairs, it had transformed into a space where connections were made, where lives intertwined. Alex could feel the possibilities stretching out before him, like the stars above on a clear night. "If you're enjoying this story, comment what your favorite moment was and turn on notifications," he said, a playful grin spreading across his face. Zektar laughed, their earlier tension replaced by a sense of lightness. "I think I'll have plenty of favorites to share with my people." As they prepared to wrap up the day, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something extraordinary. The world outside the Galactic Tech Repair Shop seemed vast and full of adventures waiting to be explored. Together, they stood at the threshold of a new chapter, ready to embrace whatever challenges awaited them in the cosmos. With a newfound sense of purpose, Alex looked at Zektar, who was still buzzing with excitement. The journey they had taken together had only just begun, and he was eager to see where it would lead them next. As the connection stabilized, Zektar's excitement bubbled over. Their alien features, usually so stoic, were now animated with joy. Zektar's eyes shimmered, a reflection of the radiant signals flowing through the device. For the first time, it felt like the barriers of language and species had dissolved, replaced by an unspoken understanding. Alex watched, a smile creeping onto his face as he observed the aliens' elation. Zektar began communicating with their people on the other end of the connection. The words flowed melodically, punctuated by exclamations of joy and relief. Alex couldn't understand the language, but the emotional weight behind Zektar's words was clear. Each syllable seemed to resonate with gratitude, echoing in the small confines of the repair shop. It was a moment that transcended the barriers of their worlds. "Can you hear them?" Zektar exclaimed, turning to Alex, their voice a mix of disbelief and jubilance. "They're so relieved. You have no idea what you've done." Alex's heart swelled with pride. "I'm really glad it worked out," he replied, his voice steady, but inwardly he was buoyed by the success. This wasn't just another repair job, it felt like he was part of something bigger, a cosmic connection that spanned across the galaxy. As Zektar relayed their experience, Alex felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. The satisfaction of helping someone in need was palpable. It was a reminder of why he chose this line of work, repairing more than just devices, but lives, connections, and dreams. Zektar's laughter filled the air, a sound so genuine that it made Alex chuckle in response. The alien finally turned to him, their expression shifting to one of gratitude. "I must give you something in return for your kindness," Zektar said, pulling a small pouch from their side. Alex raised an eyebrow, surprised. "Oh, you really don't have to," he replied, waving it off gently. "No, please. This means more than you realize. It is customary among my people to offer a token of gratitude," Zektar insisted, their voice firm yet warm. With deft hands, Zektar rummaged through the pouch and produced a shimmering crystal orb that glowed softly with an inner light. It pulsated gently, almost as if it had a heartbeat of its own. "This is a communication enhancer," Zektar explained, holding it out for Alex. "It will help you in your future repairs, particularly with devices that require a stronger signal." Alex took the orb into his palm, feeling its warmth radiate against his skin. "This is incredible. Thank you, Zektar. You didn't have to do this." "But I wanted to," Zektar replied, their expression sincere. "Whenever you use it, remember that you have a friend across the stars." The weight of the moment settled heavily in the air. Alex nodded, understanding the significance of the gift. This wasn't just an object, it was a bridge between their worlds, a reminder of the bond they had formed amidst the chaos of repairs and alien technology. As they stood in the shop, the atmosphere felt charged with possibilities. Around them, the usual sounds of the Galactic Tech repair shop, buzzing tools, faint beeps of machines, faded into the background. The shop, which had always felt like a solitary space filled with broken devices, now felt alive with potential. It was a place where connections were made, where lives intertwined, and where the mundane transformed into the extraordinary. Zektar took a deep breath, their gaze drifting toward the device that had once seemed beyond repair. "I can't believe you fixed it. This device, it's our lifeline. Without it, I would have been lost." "I'm just glad I could help," Alex replied, the sincerity evident in his voice. "But this connection, it's something special. It's about more than just signals and circuits. It's about understanding each other." Zektar nodded, their eyes reflecting the starlit cosmos outside. "You're right. Communication is vital for my people. It connects us, it binds us. Without it, we are isolated. You've given me hope today." Alex smiled, feeling a sense of camaraderie blooming between them. They were from different worlds, yet in this moment, they were united by a shared mission. If you're enjoying this story, comment what your favorite moment was and turn on notifications. Alex said, chuckling at the thought. Zektar laughed, a melodic sound that filled the air, easing the tension that had lingered through their repair process. "I'll have plenty to share with my people. You've made quite the impression." As they stood there, it became clear to Alex that this was far more than a simple repair job. It was a catalyst for change, a gateway to understanding. The device was functioning, but it had also ignited something within him. He felt a renewed sense of purpose, a desire to learn more about the galaxy beyond the repair shop. "Let's make sure we stay in touch," Zektar suggested, their voice laced with hope. "I want to learn more about your world and share more of mine." "Absolutely," Alex replied, his heart fluttering at the thought of exchanging experiences and stories. "I'd love to hear about your culture, your people. This is just the beginning." They began discussing future repairs, improvements, and ideas for enhancing communication further. Zektar shared insights about their home, the beauty of their planet, and the importance of each device in their daily lives. Each detail revealed the depth of their connection and the significance of their interaction. Communication is not just about words, Zektar explained, their voice filled with conviction. It's about sharing experiences, emotions, and understanding one another on a fundamental level. Alex nodded, appreciating the profound wisdom behind the alien's words. It's the same for us, too. So much can get lost in translation, but when we take the time to listen, to connect, that's when magic happens. Zektar smiled, their expression reflecting a mixture of gratitude and newfound excitement. You've taught me so much in such a short time. I hope to carry these lessons back to my people. As the conversation flowed, the bond between them deepened, bridging the gap between their worlds. The Galactic Tech Repair Shop, once just a place of work, transformed into a sanctuary of understanding, a testament to the power of empathy and collaboration. Time slipped away unnoticed as they exchanged stories, laughter, and dreams for the future. The connection they had forged became a beacon of hope, reminding them both that even in a universe filled with vast differences, the desire to connect could transcend any barrier. As the connection stabilized, Zektar's features illuminated with an uncontainable joy. The device, once a lifeless piece of technology, now pulsed with a vibrant glow, signaling the return of communication between worlds. Zektar's alien eyes twinkled with gratitude, reflecting the myriad stars that surrounded them. It's working, they exclaimed, their voice a blend of disbelief and elation. I can feel my people again. Alex, standing beside Zektar, felt a swell of pride in his chest. It was one thing to fix devices, but this was different. This was about more than just repairing a broken gadget, it was about reconnecting lives, bridging the vast expanse of the galaxy. The device crackled to life, and Zektar began to communicate with their home planet. The sound of familiar voices, distorted yet recognizable, filled the air, sending shivers down Alex's spine. Can you hear them? Zektar asked, their voice trembling with emotion. They are worried about me. They thought I was lost. The alien's eyes glistened, revealing the depth of their connection to their community. Alex could feel the weight of that connection, the hope, the love, the urgency. He watched as Zektar spoke, their words flowing like a melody, filled with warmth and reassurance. The alien gestured animatedly, as if trying to convey not just words but emotions, the essence of their existence. Alex felt a tear prick at the corner of his eye. It was a poignant reminder of how essential communication was, not just for information but for the very fabric of relationships. After a few moments, Zektar turned to Alex, their voice breaking the spell. I cannot thank you enough. You've given me a part of my life back. But this device, it's still fragile. We need to do more. Alex nodded, the reality of their situation dawning on him. He had repaired the device, but it still required further adjustments to ensure it could withstand the rigors of interstellar communication. Let's take a look at the components and see what we can do, he suggested, already mentally mapping out the repairs and enhancements they might implement together. The two of them moved to a workbench cluttered with tools, spare parts, and remnants of previous repairs. Alex began sifting through the supplies, explaining his thoughts aloud. We could reinforce the signal strength, maybe tweak the power supply to ensure it can handle the demands of long-distance communication. Zektar listened intently, their expression focused and engaged, reflecting back the same determination Alex felt. What do you need from me? They asked, ready to assist in any way possible. Just your insight on how this device was used on your planet. The more I know about its history, the better I can enhance it for future use, Alex replied, his fingers moving deftly over the various components. As they worked together, Zektar shared stories about their home, a world filled with bioluminescent flora and fauna, where communication wasn't just a matter of speech but a blend of sound, light, and emotion. We express our feelings through colors as well, Zektar explained, their hands moving wildly as they described the way their people combine light signals to convey complex emotions. Each hue means something different. Alex was fascinated. So, you're saying that when you talk, you're not just using words? You're painting with light? He chuckled, amazed at the creativity of Zektar's culture. That's incredible. I wish we could incorporate that into our technology. Zektar smiled, their eyes sparkling. Perhaps one day, you will. You humans are resourceful. I've seen it today. The alien's words filled Alex with a sense of pride and purpose. It was a reminder that even the simplest of professions, like phone repair, could lead to extraordinary achievements. As they continued their work, they encountered a few hiccups, wires that didn't quite fit, components that seemed incompatible. Yet, instead of frustration, Alex found himself laughing with Zektar. Their camaraderie grew, each shared joke serving as a thread that wove their lives closer together. Let's try this, Alex suggested, holding up a small, outdated piece of technology. This old circuit board has a similar design. It might have just the right parts we need to enhance your device. His voice was filled with excitement as he began to dismantle it. Zektar watched closely, their curiosity piqued. You humans really do have a knack for improvisation, don't you? They said, a hint of admiration in their tone. Alex shrugged, a grin plastered across his face. We have to be adaptable. Sometimes, the best solutions come from being a little creative. He began connecting wires, showing Zektar how to handle tools he had mastered over the years. The alien followed every instruction, their enthusiasm infectious. Just as they were about to make a breakthrough, a sudden realization hit Alex. Wait, we need to test the frequency settings. If we don't get it right, the connection could be unstable. The urgency in his voice ignited a spark of energy between them. They worked at a rapid pace, their hands moving in sync, a dance of collaboration that spoke volumes about their growing trust. Finally, after what felt like hours of meticulous adjustments and laughter, they were ready to power the device back on. Alex held his breath, his heart racing. This is it, he whispered, glancing at Zektar, who nodded with a mix of hope and anxiety. With a flick of a switch, the device hummed to life once more. They both leaned in, eager to witness the results of their efforts. The screen flickered, and a burst of static filled the air, followed by the familiar voices from Zektar's home world, now clearer and more vibrant than before. The alien's eyes widened in astonishment. It's working even better than before. Zektar exclaimed, a joyful laugh escaping their lips. You've done it, Alex. You've truly done it. Alex felt a rush of elation. We've done it together, he corrected, a smile spreading across his face. This is what teamwork looks like. As Zektar continued communicating with their people, Alex felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He realized that their bond had transcended the boundaries of species and planets. They were no longer just a technician and a client, they were friends, partners in a shared adventure. The moment was profound, a testament to the power of connection, understanding, and friendship. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex said, a playful tone in his voice, knowing that their journey was far from over. As the voices from Zektar's planet filled the room, Alex smiled, feeling as if they had not only repaired a device but had also sparked a friendship that would last across the stars. After Zektar's departure, Alex found himself in a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. The Galactic Tech Repair Shop, which had once been a simple place for fixing devices, now felt like a portal to a larger universe filled with endless possibilities. The air was still charged with the excitement of their shared triumph, and the remnants of their collaboration lingered in every corner of the shop. He picked up a small piece of alien technology left behind by Zektar, feeling a profound connection to the experience they shared. Emboldened by their success, Alex was determined to expand his skills. He had spent countless hours repairing smartphones, tablets, and other devices for humans, but the encounter with Zektar ignited a spark of curiosity about alien technology. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was so much more to learn, so much more he could offer to beings from different worlds. He began to think about how he could bridge the gap between human technology and the needs of various extraterrestrial species. As he cleaned up the workshop, Alex pulled out his tablet and started researching alien devices. He navigated through a multitude of forums, tutorials, and videos, each filled with intricate diagrams and explanations that lit up the screen like a starry sky. The more he learned, the more inspired he became. He discovered that various alien species had unique methods of communication and technology that differed vastly from humans. It was fascinating to see how different cultures approach technology, often reflecting their values and lifestyles. His mind raced with ideas. What if he could create a guide for repairs that would help other technicians understand the nuances of alien devices? What if he could develop a system that would allow for easy communication across species? The possibilities felt endless. He envisioned a shop that catered specifically to intergalactic customers, a hub where beings from different planets could come to receive the help they needed, no matter their technology. With renewed determination, Alex began to put his plans into motion. He set aside a corner of the shop to serve as a research area. He filled it with books, tools, and components from various alien devices he had collected. Each item was a puzzle piece, waiting to fit into his vision of a universal repair shop. The more he organized and categorized, the more he felt like he was building a bridge between worlds. As days turned into weeks, Alex's reputation began to grow. He received calls from various alien beings seeking his expertise. Some were skeptical, while others were eager to see what a human could do. Each new visitor brought a fresh challenge, a new story, and a unique piece of technology that required attention. He welcomed them all with open arms, ready to learn and share. One day, a tall, luminescent being named Nova entered the shop, her skin shimmering like a rainbow under the fluorescent lights. She approached Alex with a complex device that resembled a blend of a smartphone and a small starship control panel. "I heard you fixed Zektar's communicator. Can you help me with this?" she asked, her voice melodic yet tinged with concern. Alex's eyes widened in excitement. "Of course. Let's take a look." He examined the device, feeling the smooth surface beneath his fingers. It was a beautiful piece of engineering, but it was clear that it had seen better days. He carefully opened the device, revealing a web of intricate circuits and components. As he worked, he engaged Nova in conversation. "What's the most important feature of this device?" he asked, hoping to understand its significance better. Nova explained that it was a communication tool used to connect with her people across vast distances, much like Zektar's device, but with an added layer of technology that allowed for visual communication through holograms. "I can imagine how vital this is for you and your community," Alex said, feeling the weight of the responsibility on his shoulders. "Let's see what we can do." As he delved deeper into the repair, Alex found himself reflecting on the stories he had shared with Zektar. He began to see parallels between their cultures. Both valued communication as a means of connection, sharing, and understanding. The more he learned about Nova's species, the more he realized that technology was not just about gadgets, it was about the relationships formed through them. After hours of meticulous work, Alex finally managed to restore the device's main functionality, much to Nova's delight. She tested it out, and a holographic image of her family appeared before them, their faces smiling brightly. "Thank you, Alex. You've done it," she exclaimed, her voice filled with joy. "Together, we did it," he replied, feeling a swell of pride. It was in moments like these that he understood the true impact of his work. It wasn't merely about fixing devices, it was about reconnecting lives and fostering understanding across the galaxies. Each successful repair filled Alex with a sense of accomplishment and a growing desire to learn more. He dove into the challenges with enthusiasm, embracing the complexities of each new device. As he experimented with different techniques, he began documenting his findings, creating a comprehensive guide that he hoped would benefit others in the future. His little shop transformed into a bustling hub, attracting not just customers, but also curious minds eager to collaborate. Alex started hosting workshops, inviting other technicians and aliens to share their knowledge and skills. It became a melting pot of ideas, where cultures intertwined and friendships blossomed. One evening, as he prepared for a workshop, he looked around the shop filled with laughter and chatter. It was a vibrant space, alive with creativity and collaboration. He paused for a moment, allowing himself to feel the weight of what he had accomplished. This was more than a career, it was a calling. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As he watched his friends and customers, Alex realized that he had found his purpose not just as a phone repair technician, but as a bridge builder between worlds. With each connection made, he felt more empowered, more alive, and excited about the future. He smiled, knowing that with every repaired device, he was helping to weave a tapestry of intergalactic camaraderie that would endure long after he was gone. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter that night, reflecting the endless potential that lay ahead. As Alex continued to work in his shop, the vibrant atmosphere pulsed with energy. Alien customers flowed in and out, each bringing unique challenges and stories. The walls were adorned with eclectic gadgets and devices from various corners of the galaxy, each telling a tale of its own. The smell of solder and the low hum of machinery served as a constant reminder of his purpose, repairing not just devices, but fostering connections. One day, a bright-eyed alien child named Brix burst into the shop, clutching a small device that resembled a crumpled piece of paper but was alive with shimmering lights. "Can you help?" "It's my communication doodad," she exclaimed, her voice filled with urgency. Alex knelt down to her level, smiling. "Of course, Brix. Let's see what we can do." As he examined the device, Alex noticed that the intricate patterns of circuits were unlike anything he had encountered before. He carefully opened it, revealing a complex mess of wires and tiny components that sparkled under the fluorescent lights. Brix watched wide-eyed, her face a mix of concern and hope. "This doodad lets me talk with my family on Zanara 7, she explained, her fingers tapping anxiously against her thigh. "Without it, I can't hear them, and they can't hear me." Alex felt a familiar pull in his heart. Fixing this device was not just a task, it was a lifeline for Brix. He understood the weight of her expectation, just as he had felt with Zektar and Nova. "Don't worry, Brix. We'll get it working again," he reassured her, his voice steady and calm. As he delved into the repair, Alex found himself recalling the lessons he had learned from each alien he had helped. Each interaction had added depth to his understanding of what it meant to connect across cultures. He focused intently, applying the improvisational techniques he had developed over the last few months. He replaced a few damaged components and made mental notes on what worked and what didn't, treating each repair as a learning opportunity. With each twist of the screwdriver, he felt Brix's anticipation build. "Do you think it will work?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex paused, looking her in the eyes. "It will, if we keep trying. Together." Finally, after an hour of meticulous work, he reassembled the device. He took a deep breath, feeling the tension in the air, and reached for the power source. With a flick of the switch, the device sprang to life, lights flashing in vibrant colors. Brix gasped, clapping her hands in delight. "It's working!" Just then, a holographic image flickered to life in front of them, a beautiful landscape filled with glowing trees and floating islands. Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed from the device, "Brix. Can you hear me?" It was her mother, her face beaming with joy. The child leaped with excitement, tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks. "Mom! I can see you!" Alex stepped back, letting the moment wash over him. It was moments like these that reminded him of why he loved this job so much. Helping others reconnect with their loved ones transcended language and culture. It was a universal bond that tied them all together. Brix turned to Alex, her eyes shining with gratitude. Thank you so much. You're the best." Feeling a swell of pride, Alex replied, "You did great too, Brix. Never underestimate the power of teamwork." As she danced around the shop, calling her mother's name repeatedly, Alex felt a wave of satisfaction wash over him. He had not just repaired a device, he had restored a child's connection to her family, much like he had done before. The days passed, and Alex's shop continued to flourish. He organized weekly gatherings, inviting technicians, alien friends, and curious learners from all walks of life. The shop had transformed into a vibrant community hub, filled with laughter, learning, and collaboration. They exchanged tips, shared stories, and even celebrated their differences. One evening, as the sun set beyond the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, Alex stood outside his shop, gazing up at the stars. Each twinkle reminded him of the countless lives he had touched and the friendships he had forged. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. A gentle breeze swept through, and he took a deep breath, feeling a sense of peace. He reflected on his journey, from a humble phone repair technician to a bridge builder between worlds. He understood that every interaction, every repair, was a thread in the tapestry of connection he was weaving across the galaxy. As he turned to head back inside, a familiar figure approached. It was Zektar, the alien he had first helped. "Alex!" Zektar called out, his eyes bright with excitement. "I have news. Our communication lines have been restored all across our planet, thanks to your help." Alex felt a rush of warmth in his chest. "That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that." Zektar stepped closer, beaming with pride. "We want to invite you to our home planet for a celebration. You have changed the lives of so many, and we want to honor you." The invitation caught Alex off guard. "Me? But I'm just a tech guy." "Exactly. You are a connector of worlds," Zektar replied, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. "Your work shows us that sometimes, the simplest solutions can yield the greatest results. We would be honored to have you as our guest." As they talked about the plans for the celebration, Alex felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. He had embarked on a journey that had led him to discover not just the joys of repair but also the deeper meaning of connection. That night, as Alex lay in bed, he closed his eyes, smiling at the thought of new adventures. He realized that each day brought fresh possibilities and challenges. The universe was vast and full of stories waiting to be told. He was no longer just a phone repair technician, he was a part of something greater. With dreams of cosmic galaxies and the sound of laughter echoing in his mind, Alex drifted off to sleep, ready to embrace whatever the universe had in store for him next. The stars outside twinkled brightly, as if echoing his thoughts, reminding him that every connection made, every life touched, was a step toward unity across the cosmos. In the end, Alex understood that his work went beyond mere repairs. It was about building bridges, nurturing friendships, and creating a community that thrived on understanding and compassion. It was a beautiful journey, and he was excited for every moment that lay ahead.